Alright guys, this is one for a YouTube crew. Haven't done anything on 3D printers in a while, and I'm here at my very messy workbench. And this week we are making these handle parts for a new local company. Needed some production done. They needed these made out of ASA, this size. And if you've printed an ASA before, you might know that it likes to warp. Probably worse than ABS. But so it's been a challenge, and as you can see in this bed right here, even with all the things we had done to mitigate that warp, this build plate is very taco shaped at the moment. Now, in order to get this to print, we actually added blue tape in a couple places on the edge and just taped it down to the bed itself, and it wasn't coming up anymore. So that worked great. On the Core One, you can see the build plate that I was running on there is my old Mark III's build plate. Got eaten up pretty badly, so we got a PEI bed, and they're not very thick. They're just, they're just a tiny bit thinner than the Prusa ones, but in order to counteract that pull, you can see we've added double magnets to the bottom of the existing magnets to increase the pull. Now it's not, since we have 3 magnets in each spot, it's not triple the pull. It's probably somewhere around like 30% extra pull, but that's enough to keep this from warping. There's also bed clips up here in front and in the back. And to keep the heat in while we're printing this material hot, we have this poly dryer modification. I'll have a link down in the comments to where you can get to some printables. It's free download. That's on here, a little bit of Kapton tape to seal it up. Got these corner caps for the Core One, which really helps. And there's all this blue tape is just to hold that in place because I was desperate to get this modified and added in. You can see more of that silver insulation on both sides to kind of keep the heat up here in the print area, so the warping isn't as bad. Now, thanks to a lot of the people on Twitter, I had learned from their experience with printing ASA that I wasn't running this hot enough. And what would happen is these upper layers on this part would cool, especially around here where we started our top 4 layers of solid infill. And what would happen is whenever it moved from part to part in the machine, you would have that top layer, which is now solid, cool faster than the bottom parts, which are still being heated by the bed. And that causes the entire thing to shrink in whatever direction it wants. Now, these ones, we started running this at 270. Now, this Atomic ASA, good American-made material. This spool here says 260 is the top end. The other spools I have say 270, so we're running it at 270. And that seems to be keeping the heat in there with the tape as well. Now, this machine doesn't have a chamber heater yet. We have it sitting in a box behind me, and it's going to take up most of the side panel. So I got to modify this side panel, cut it on the laser, and I'm going to cut an acrylic housing box for it to sit in, and then it can, all the power stuff can work down there. And then we'll also add more of this Mylar bubble wrap insulation to the sides and maybe to the doors. I also have some window thermal insulation that's heat reflective that we can put on here so I can still see through it. But for right now, yeah, that's how we've resolved that. So if you're having trouble printing ASA, you're going to need to keep your chamber temps up. This has a pre-soak before it even starts to print. Default that I have programmed in here is 6 minutes because that's what we run with our nylon. But maybe even 12 minutes or more would work better. And on here we got the chamber heater running right now, so that gets our chamber temps up to speed super fast. So this iteration goes very quickly because of that, and we're finally getting some good parts out of it. So thanks again to all the people on Twitter who helped point out everything. Thanks to great companies like Vision Miner, because I forgot to do one of these batches after getting all the the bed problems resolved. I forgot to add this stuff, and sure enough, parts came off with that curl, but with the Vision Miner on here, they don't curl off and everything stays printing well. So yeah, we're finally getting some good parts. So thanks to everyone who gave some very good pointers, and happy printing.